What's good, Detroit Sports Nation? I am Eric Vincent, your host here at the DSN News Desk. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your time and support. Even though today's feeling like a bit of a gut punch. This is a bit of a reality check for the Detroit Lions and its fan base, and maybe we might have needed it a little bit. Because this was quite a humbling performance today by the Detroit Lions on the road against the Carolina Panthers, losing in ugly fashion, 37-23 final score. Final score not really indicating how bad the game truly was, because the Lions really just didn't really seem to have any continuous momentum that they could build on throughout this game. Came out with a pretty good drive to score right away, and then outside of that, they fumbled in the very next drive in the red zone on the 10-yard line, and never picked up any kind of momentum from there. And that was just the offense, what we're talking about. The defense kind of got dog-walked up and down the field the entire game. And it was ugly to watch. It was really bad. I mean, 570 total yards given up to the Carolina Panthers from by the defense. Oh, man. Really bad. Really, really bad. 320 rushing yards. 240 rushing yards in the first half alone. Deontay Foreman got 165 yards on 21 touches, got himself a touchdown as well, found the end zone. Chuba Hubbard, 12 for 125 yards. And even Sam Darnold was gashing them with little option plays where they would score, at the 5-yard line or just be able to convert third downs. Crushing back-breaking catches led up to DJ Moore. This is a really bad game for the defense in every way possible, and especially with the run game, where you had seen so much success be established with this defensive unit by showing the ability to control the clock, dominate the line of scrimmage, and put themselves in a position where they were winning in the trenches and making their defense the focal point where they can make quarterbacks want to play desperate, throw more, and put the ball in harm's way more often. And in this game, there was none of that whatsoever. Sam Darnold looked as comfortable as you could imagine. If he would have played this game in a robe and slippers, I would have believed why. Because he didn't look bothered in any way, shape, or form. We maybe got a couple rushes in on him, but he wasn't sacked at all. Didn't throw any turnovers. Didn't fumble the ball. Just a very, very poor to allow Sam Darnold to perform and put the Lions in a position where they didn't have a chance to stop him. Or the offense. Again, for a young quarterback like Sam Darnold, where he's still trying to establish himself as a competent and consistent quarterback in the league, the way to do that is by putting help around him. And they have a run game that put him in a place where he didn't have to do everything. And the holes he were able to run through was unbelievable. I don't know how many times we saw them run untouched up the middle of the gut in the offensive line where he wasn't touched until Kirby Joseph on the third level of the defense. Absolutely disgusting, man. I'm very disappointed with what I saw. Offensive line didn't look strong. Taylor Decker allowed 2-3 sacks to Burns. For whatever reason, the Lions' offensive running game has basically disappeared, and I don't really understand what has happened. Only 45 yards mustered up today. Jamal Williams hasn't seen the end zone in a few weeks now at this point. DeAndre Swift doesn't look like the same running back at this point. This is another disappointing run by them, man. You don't want the Lions being in a position where Goff has to do everything. And even with a game like today where he was tossing it all over the field and had these super inflated looking numbers, you see how stagnant they look as well sometimes when you don't have a running game to complement what he's doing. So even if he does throw, 25 of 42, 355 yards, 3 touchdowns, it sounds super good on Madden. But when you look at how this team played and you look at how this offense moved, they were out of sync for a lot of their game, especially after that fumble in the red zone. And even with the numbers that I'm seeing from Goff, this is the problem with Goff, and I think this is why so many fans are not ruling out the possibility of still finding a quarterback in the draft or sometime this offseason to move on and find something for the future. Goff is at his best when everything is on script. And I feel like at this point in the NFL And even with an offense like with what the Lions present, where they have guys who can improv, they have shifty weapons around him, like an offense like that kind of requires a quarterback that can also think off script. And Goff isn't great at that. He's not, I don't think he's terrible at it, but it's not a strong suit of his. And you see that with how stagnant this offense goes at times. So even when he's throwing for these super inflated numbers, you see the offense showing signs of stagnant ability when he's throwing the ball and constantly putting your offense in 4-down territory, because on 3rd down, he can't improv and throw beyond the 1st down conversion line, or maybe get a couple runs today. But outside of that, that's not his strong suit. That's not something that you can rely on with a Jared Goff. He can make plays occasionally, but he's at his best when he's putting the ball in receivers' hands where they can get yak opportunities, or if you're dropping it over the top to a DJ Shark, who has really come on strong these last several weeks. Like, he's really been playing some good football. 4 catches, 108 yards for him. 7 catches for 76 yards for Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I think now officially went over 1,000 yards for the season with today's performance. And again, I love seeing them thrive. They really still are not including Jameson Williams at all in the game plan. Bothers me a little bit. Goff tried to throw one pass to him, but it was 3 yards shy, and J-Mo couldn't even get a shot at getting a catch on the ball. So, like, again, sometimes it feels like when Goff can't play on script, the offense completely falls apart. I'm not saying he's the problem, and I'm not saying he's like, is something that needs to be addressed immediately. But for me, if we're looking at best player available in the draft, if we are assessing everything fairly within the Lions roster, you have to at some point consider upgrading at the quarterback position for what this offense needs and how suitable they would be with a quarterback that can improv and make plays on the fly when everything doesn't work out perfect. And it seems like that has to be the formula for Jared Goff, which for the most part has worked because, again, he's had an offensive line to protect him, a run game behind him to give him some support, receivers that don't drop a lot of passes, rookie tight ends that are stepping up and playing well. Shout out to Shane Zylstra, who had 3 touchdown catches today. James Mitchell had some big plays. Brock Wright with another catch. Like, they're getting production out of those guys, but I feel like you can take them to another level with a quarterback that's able to make plays on the fly. I've constantly said, and I stick to this, and I know it might be a crappy take. I don't care. I truly believe this. At this point, if the Lions are going to take a quarterback high, I'm only okay if it's Bryce Young. I don't want C.J. Stroud. I don't care about the quarterback from Kentucky. Bryce Young is the only quarterback I'll be okay with the Lions drafting high on. I could see them waiting and getting somebody else later, like a Malik Hooker or the quarterback from Florida. I could see them waiting in later rounds instead of going high right away. But my point is this. At this point, there are some games that Jared Goff has played this season, especially on the road, where he showed the flaws and the cracks of this offense and how they struggle and why they struggle, especially on the road. He shows a lot of those reasons why. When he's underthrowing balls, he's not able to scramble out and really improv and, catch defense off their heels. He doesn't have the ability to do that. And sometimes that keeps this offense stagnant. And it puts them in this constant necessity to go for it on 4th down, which I don't always love. So hopefully they find a way to make that more consistent. But I believe watching Jared Goff for these last few games is going to be important. Again, he's not the problem for this team, but I don't think he's the solution that people are trying to pin him as of right now. He's played well, he's had some good games, and he's had some games that look a little shaky. But for the most part, I think it needs to be at least be in the Lions' mind going into the draft, going into free agency, going into how they decide to build this roster for the future. One of those pinpoint plans has to be addressing the quarterback position. But again, I'm not pinning this all on Goff. I'm not being a Goff hater. I don't want to slander him because there were a lot of other things to look at. Defense was terrible. Secondary was getting picked apart. Looks like they really missed Deshaun Elliott today. Didn't see any kind of rush from the defensive line. And, they let up a lot of dumb penalties and really just, again, didn't find any kind of consistent flow to build on the momentum that they've been having. And these are the kind of games that you worry about for a young team and an experienced team that's in a playoff hunt, that's in a position to, work for the postseason. And that dream isn't lost yet. The Lions still can get into the postseason. I mean, I think Seattle lost today. The Giants lost to the Vikings in dramatic fashion. So it's not over yet. The Lions still have a chance, but they have to play 1,000 times better than what we saw today. They can't go into Lambeau playing the way they did today. You can't even go home against Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears, who can get sporadically hot every so often in a game. And against a division rival, it very well could be you next if you don't take them serious enough. So hopefully this game is a big wake-up call for the Lions. Again, I didn't love what I saw. I don't think a lot of fans did. And they need to tighten it up. Again, I thought they were due for some ugly, muck-it-up games, but I didn't think it was going to get to this portion. I thought they could have definitely pulled a win out, a comfortable win, but, Lions didn't seem to be too prepared today, unfortunately. Got 2 more games left. Got to close it out right. Going on 7-8 for their record for the season. 2 more games left. We'll see how things unfold. Talk to me in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. What did you think about the Lions game today? As they dropped down to 7-8, losing to the Panthers today. I'd love to hear your feedback from the game. Make sure you like the video if you're on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel as we ramp up on our way to 6,000 subscribers. Help us make that happen. With your support, we would greatly appreciate it. Make sure you're tapping in on our social media as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the above. Subscribe, search, and follow Detroit Sports Nation, and make sure you tap in with me as well at I am Eric Vincent. I will be uncovering the game in more detail on Beyond the Box Monday at 7 o'clock. I really hope you guys get a chance to check that out with me and AJ every Monday, 7 o'clock. Going to be unpacking some NFL and Lions football and just kicking it off to, really get other rap for the great holiday season. So, unfortunately, get off to the start we wanted with, this Lions result. But I do hope you guys have a great Christmas, a great holiday season with you and yours. And hopefully we can get a better result next week from the Lions to get off of the season. Thank you again for supporting. I really appreciate you watching. I'll be back again soon with another update right here from the DSN News Desk. Peace.